Jack Nicholson would say, that's as good as it gets. Take it away.
Killed it. All right. So, everybody, your story begins on the island of Peleus, a mystical floating village in the middle of a giant magical bog. From the sticky, swampish plants that dot the coastline to the thick and muddy waters that bubble up randomly throughout the town, you will find a matriarchal society thriving and flourishing due to the nature and magic that surrounds them. In this world, magic is regulated, danger is a mystery, and daily life is comfortable and filled with boggy agriculture. People here are hopeful that the great harvest is upon them. But monsters emerging from the bog have left the leaders of the village to seek outside help. So, we start with a wide pan through this bog, or over the top of it, I suppose. We see the swampy treetops, the fog lifting up from deep down underneath, and then we dive down among the trees to snake between the stumps and just looking at this oozing mud, and it's some kind of mixture between disgusting and beautiful, right? So it's this epic nature. It's unnatural almost. And you can see like places where the mud sparkles just a little bit with magic, and where the grass grows maybe a little bit taller than you would be expecting, or the swamp plants wave kind of a little bit more lifelike than you would imagine. We zoom in up through the mud and emerge at the edge of the most magical part of this bog of all, which is that there is an actual island floating in the middle of it. A place where either by the will of man or by the will of nature, there is this large floating area. It's got wooden huts and trees that have been carved out into dwellings. It's got large branches that duck over it, shading it and protecting it from the rest of the bog. It has a lot of people bustling in and out. You can see guards posted at different places along this beautiful wall of weaved grasses and weeds. And then we kind of tour a little bit through this town, seeing kind of the outsides of some of the buildings. And it's all of these, you can see every type of thing that you would imagine, like a merchant and a blacksmith and all of that kind of stuff, but it's all got this like plant-esque twist. Like it's all like a little bit greener or a little bit muddier than you would normally see in a town. And then we come to this place where it looks like maybe like a sheriff's station or something like that. It's got some guards circulating in and out. We go through the door and we find a desk where there is a woman sitting. She's wearing silver armor that is tied together with this very strong looking green threads that kind of weaves throughout and crackles throughout the armor and through the chainmail. And she is sitting at her desk, tapping her foot and looking at a clock on the wall. And we get a few flashes as she closes her eyes of images of this bog with these huge balls of light falling from the sky. And then we flash back and she's just sitting there tapping her foot. There's a ring as somebody enters this sheriff's station, and she looked away from the clock and she sees stumbling in the front door two of our friends. Do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Do you want to go first, Lids, or do you want me to go first?
I feel like you're the one stumbling, to be honest, Soup.
That's fair.
Definitely.
Isn't the place that was going to sell the beans? There's like this like Goron-esque burly rotund man who is clearly fat strong, but looks mostly schlubby with like large, like almost kind of orangutan style, like small furs that are just going down the totality of some of his exposed limbs. And he points to
Companion Bonzi is a fair margin shorter, being a skeleton in a arrangement of what looks like basket woven armor and dry grasses kind of hanging off of her. Almost a throwback to what you might imagine samurai armor to look like, but the most standout thing is like, she's a skeleton. It's just a skeleton. And being Ernestine's dear friend, Bonzi feels the need to clarify. He means to say hello, ma'am.
What time is it? Time beans?
And I think that the detective, we definitely follow her gaze from the ground, looking at your feet with a kind of look of almost hope. And, she sees like the shoes on the ground that are just like normal boots. And then slowly her eyes travel up. And like the more that she takes in of this kind of ragtag team that has just appeared on her doorstep, the more she looks a little bit confused. Do you guys have a team name that you're known by?
That's a powerful thing we have to.
A team name.
Yeah.
Are we Team Beans? I mean, no, that's too silly. Or is it?
Zoob, you've truly done it today, buddy. You've created a character which has stunned me to my fucking core.
Really? This is the first time for you?
I have never heard you roleplay as that thing we dragged in off the streets of fucking Boston.
Oh boy.
I feel disappointed that this is the first time you've been absolutely flabbergasted by anything I've done.
This is the first time you have hit the fucking ground at 284 miles per fucking hour towards my goddamn brain case.
Sucks, I method acted this all day.
By doing what? Bashing your head against the trash can?
Do you know how much trip hop and Bob Marley I've listened to all morning?
Oh, God. No.
Look, the thing is, it's good to prep. It's good to do prep work. You got to do your prep work.
I was an idiot. See, I did my prep work by listening to your fucking podcast, and I was like, oh, what a colorful cast of characters who look like they're going to do a fucking scene or whatever. And then this shit stumbles up. And now I'm fucked. I'm the asshole holding the bag.
There's different kinds of art. There's different kinds of scene work, right? My theater experience tells me that there's different genres.
Yeah,
True.
and you know what? Your theater experience should tell you that maybe you want the audience to be able to understand your fucking actor.
Yeah,
You said Beans.
I did hear the beans thing, and luckily he does have a translator. If I don't understand what you say, Beans, I will not understand what you say, and that will be what it will be.
I figured I'd give you
God.
some creative license on this one.
On the team name?
I mean, just
A
in
work
general.
in progress.
Gotcha. Yeah.
How about whip? Because we're a work in progress.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Um
Under no circumstances.
all right, here's what she says. She looks up at you, kind of squints a little bit, looks back down at her paper and says, Are you Sir and Lady Ernestine and Bonzi?
Yeah, but how do you know that?
Because I'm the one that hired you.
A bony finger goes to the approximation of Bonzi's chin. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. That makes sense.
Remember I sent you the message that brought you here?
I don't think Ernestine remembers his own fucking name.
Oh, I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. What? Oh, right, yeah. And he like moves like a really corpulent finger up in the air as a sign of recognition. I the one that asked about the thing about the ring-a-ding beans.
That meant monsters, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, that was me that sent the call out. You too, your reputation precedes you.
Yeah, I'm kind of a legend. Sometimes I like do backflips and people think it's cool.
I was told that you would be an affordable and helpful hero to bring into the town to help with a particular issue that we're having. Here, have a seat. And she gets up and she fumbles through these wooden cabinets. They're kind of like rotting away, but not in it's like almost like a pattern, the rot on these cabinets. And she's opening them and she pulls out a couple of papers. Luckily, I did hire a very competent I haven't met him yet, but I've heard he's quite competent swamp, not expert, I suppose, but just somebody that can go with you since you're less familiar with the area. And he should be here soon. I'm not sure why he's not here yet. Maybe, was there something going on, some kind of commotion that kept you from arriving on time? Maybe it's holding up him as well.
There was some altercation on the outside of the thing, but Bonzi said I needed to go in the other direction.
That's... Yeah.
How do you guys think that you got onto this island? Do you think that you just like traveled through the swamp? Do you think you came in on a hot air balloon? Do you think you somehow teleported here?
I imagined us being on the ground in the swamp, looking up the island, and the first thing out of either of our mouths is Bonzi saying, "How are we supposed to get up there?" And like, that was our first challenge, and that's probably
Excellent.
actually why we were late.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. You guys were like in your like tiny little dinghy looking up at like, how the hell do we get into this island? So we definitely get a few flashes of that. And then we flash back and the detective goes, well, hopefully he'll be here soon. And at that moment, we get the entrance of our third hero. You want to go ahead and describe that entrance for me?
Yeah. I'm just gonna... How the fuck do you walk into this? Just straight in the fucking door. I've got my wonderful leather armor on. I've got a cloak up over my hideously scarred face. I've only got one eye, which is what you want in a sharpshooter, really.
Did you mention the fact that you're a lizard?
Oh yeah, I'm a lizard. I guess that's important too.
Did you say you banged down the door?
No, I just stumble in. I imagine these clowns didn't move in very far, so I just walk right into the back of them the minute I open the door.
I clatter, as bones do.
We definitely get like a couple of moments of like full collision of three people, and the detective just like stares at the three of you for a moment and then goes, yes, please have a seat.
I grimace and take a seat.
I'll do the same.
Excellent. She's got a large desk, and she's, like I said, she pulled some things out of cabinets and papers for you. She gives each of you guys a contract that you've been informed about that basically details like that this might be dangerous, but there will be a small reward for it, and that the town will do their best to equip you as much as possible for the adventure. And then also it has like a map of the swamp. It has like a couple of markings on it of places. It shows a specific place that they want you to go, and then has markings about a couple of other places that are marked for being potentially dangerous. So, you might be wanting more details about why we've summoned you here. My name is... I forgot her name.
I've done that.
My name is Shiva, and I am the head detective here for the city / sheriff, I suppose, but we don't really call it a sheriff. I guess I suppose I run sort of the guard and general, like, I maintain civil rest throughout the village. And as you know from my message, we have not been experiencing much rest. Typically, this time of year is a very exciting harvest for us. We have a massive celebration, and as you can see, this is a lush and rich area that we are currently living in. So we have all variety of produce and creatures and things that we feast on and save up for the rough winter that's unfortunately always coming. But there was a bit of a situation about a month ago while farmers out in the marsh came back reporting that they had seen stars falling from the sky. And of course, we thought they were making it up or something of that nature, because that sounds ridiculous, right? But ever since that, we've had strange, all manner of creatures emerging from the swamp. And we are well versed in strange swamp creatures. And she gestures at the lizard. I mean, and then she gestures at herself. She's humanoid, but she's got like these sort of long, twisting ears, and she's got kind of like a pale greenish hue to her skin. We have all sorts of creatures that flourish in the bog, but these are unlike anything we've ever seen before, and we don't know how to manage them. They're interfering with our harvests. They're attacking our crops and our plants. And, well, I'd like to show you something. And she stands up and gestures towards the back door.
I
Ooh.
grimace, stand up, and follow her.
Watch leader. That's what you were. That's the name you were looking for. You're a watch leader.
Oh, thank you.
Chosen constable?
Here we call it lead detective / general, but whatever suits you best. She opens the door.
I just like the way it sounds. Constable.
You feel free to call me constable if you'd like.
Oh my god. I'm following her.
Excellent. And I believe we didn't get the lizard's name. Do you want to remind me what your name is?
Czar.
Czar?
Czar.
Z-A-R? Okay.
Czar.
Like the czar? Okay.
Also a good word. Czar.
Or like a pirate. Czar!
I was going to call him Grimace if we didn't get his name. This is all banter as we make our way through the door, I believe.
we just kind of like get a couple more moments of the three of you guys kind of bumping into each other and stumbling over your own feet as you walk through the door, except for Bonzi, who seems probably most in control of her physicalness, even though she's a skeleton.
I have to have some composure, I suppose.
And then when you get inside, there's actually a cadaver.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that excited, but Bonzi is like frantically waving her hands and like just short of jumping up and down.
You need to tell us about these things first because she's got kind of a fetish.
I mean, it's my passion. I do not get what you would call a physical sexual thrill out of it. I mean, I kind of lack key components for such a... Anyway, would you...
Oh my god.
Would you permit me, lead detective constable Captain Shiva,
You can just call me Shiva.
to further examine this sample?
How many titles does she have?
All of them.
1.
Yes.
Okay, so
I would like to examine the dead.
excellent. Is that a move that you have?
Yes, it is.
Love it. So, first of all, when you guys see the body, it is actually fairly well preserved. And you can tell that by there's this sort of like green aura magic emanating off of it that has obviously, and you would recognize this, Bonzi, as a protect the dead spell that keeps it from decomposing and all that gross stuff. But it does have, well, wait, what's your move? Does it reveal things? Should I wait to tell you about the body?
So, examine the dead. And I'm just reading this right out of the book because I'm learning too. To evaluate a corpse within reach. I think it's in reach. The corpse must be intact enough for you to look at it. It cannot be completely obliterated like paste all over a wall, I think.
It is not paste all over a wall. You're good.
That is good. After a minute of
Fantastic.
inspection, you are able to determine the creature's exact cause of death. You are also able to determine the time and date of its death. Fun fact.
Excellent.
The only reason I know I'm female is because I've examined myself several times.
I love that. That's so interesting.
Yeah, because the female skeleton has like different.
Hips.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Mostly,
hips, the
yeah.
ribs.
So you describe all of this as you walk over to the body.
Bonzi is all over this.
So you expend a point, yeah? And then it just happens? Or do you, what is the cost of that? Do you have to make a roll or anything?
Header, and it says 1 point.
Just spend that point, and then the creature is a human female teenager. With your superior knowledge, you can tell that she was... How does that work? Is it a magic thing, or is it like an inquisitive thing?
In my particular case, because I'm a skeleton, or like...
No, just like what's the flavor for your character? AKA, I'm giving you the reins to describe to me how this works.
Ah, okay. There's definitely a blend of more factual scientific observation, which you can pick up on because Bonzi pulls out a pair of spectacles, which is made all the more absurd because she has no physical eyes, that she puts on. She dips one of her bony fingers into a well of ink and is taking notes as she looks it over. But she also at times will hold out her bony palm or hand, and like hold it close to see what she can sense, feel.
Yeah.
I mean, her functions are obviously of some kind of different nature than you or me.
Yeah.
There's clearly something magical holding her together, so to some subtle lesser extent, she's able to reach it out and glean different things that way too.
It's almost like a sensor kind of, or like a metal detector for illness.
Bad juju, weird shit,
Yeah.
ghosts,
Yes.
what have
Okay,
you.
so you
Yeah.
definitely, when you do that, when you do all your like normal examinations, you can tell that she has been dead for a couple of weeks, and you can tell that she has a lot of different kinds of injuries. Like I said, she's got the burns, she's got like some eroded parts of her skin, possibly from poison. But then when you run your hand over, can I suggest that maybe you experience a little bit of whatever killed her? Not to
Sure.
damage you, but just so as the flavor of how you learn.
Yeah. That makes sense to me,
Yeah.
actually.
So as you do that, you feel this just searing hot pain just course up your arm, and you feel an explosion just contained in your fingers as they're glowing a little bit of a, what's the color of your magic? Is it necrotic black? Is it blue? Like what color is your magic?
You know when you run a heat gun and there's like that ripple in the air, but it doesn't
Absolutely.
have a distinct color? It's like
Yes,
that.
100%. So everybody else kind of sees those like ripples of heat radiating off of your hand. Meanwhile, your fingers, you just experience this explosion. And you also feel like tendrils of heat hitting you all at once. So she was killed by some kind of magical hot explosion, tendrily creature thing, beast, something that you don't recognize exactly what it is.
I'm gonna put that in the not good column. Scribble, scribble, scribble.
Meanwhile, Shiva doesn't really know that you could do that. So she sort of steps forward and she goes, "We're not entirely sure what happened to her, but she was found a couple weeks ago. We did the best that we could to heal and preserve the body, but she was already gone."
I have some questions for you, Shiva.
Yes? Already? That's excellent. Thank you. Go ahead.
Your methods of agriculture, have you made any drastic changes to them in recent years?
Well, not exactly. Obviously, since the monsters started terrorizing, we've been changing the shifts, sending out more people at a time so that nobody gets hurt. But like I said, that wasn't until the stars, whatever it was that people saw fell from the sky. We didn't have to change anything until then.
A color out of space and time. He like pulls out his giant pipe and muses it in the air like Sherlock Holmes.
Zara grimaces in the back.
And I'd say Czar, being also from the swamp, you know about the event that she's talking about.
Oh shit, do I?
Because you also live in the swamp.
Oh, with just the stars falling
Yeah,
out?
you would know about
Yeah.
the stars falling, whatever it was, the large balls of fire, or stars, or
Okay.
something that fell from the sky.
Sorry, I thought you meant the event that burned this poor
No.
lady up.
Nobody knows about what
Okay.
happened. Nobody knows what exactly
Yeah, no,
happened there.
fair.
They just found her body after. But you would also know that happened, and that it was kind of like a several streaks of light that fell from different places in the sky, and then it looked like they all landed in the same place.
Okay. It's good information to have.
So we need you to find the source of this and stop it before it hurts anybody else.
So, this is your only witness to the challenge at present?
No, there were some farmers that saw this incident of the stars falling from the sky.
But not, well, I'll be more specific. Here are my findings. Bonzi happily regales what she experienced in grim detail for everyone's enjoyment. Up to and including the magical hot bad thing explosion.
Shiva looks very disturbed at the end and turns meaningfully to Ernestine and says, "Your friend, is she always like this?"
Oh yeah, she does this shit all the time. You get used to it. Or you get, to a state where you don't really care anymore. It is what it is. Hey, you creepy lizard man, what you doing over here? Could you come over here? Guess we're working together.
I just need a moment. All right, I guess question 1. How many hit points and action points do I start with?
10.
Oh, rad. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know if you'd actually said that. Question 2. Did Bonsley say how long ago this person perished?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Her body's been magically
Alright.
preserved in its state.
That's fair. Sorry, there was a lot of information
No,
there.
it's cool. It's cool. It's good.
Has anything else like this happened in 2 weeks?
There have been a multitude of strange aberrations emerging from the swamp.
Oh, do tell. New notebook ready.
I actually can show you those as some of them as well. And she turns and pulls open a stone cabinet kind of wall area, and you can see there's like all these strange jars of bizarre items, like a tentacle and an eyeball and just like a glob of dripping tar and that kind of thing.
It's kind of like when I make cooking.
It kind of is.
I hope I never have to sit at your table.
Unfortunately, I'll be sharing a campfire with you later.
That's not a table. Good news.
Yeah.
So do you think you can help us?
Oh,
I can track anything in this bog. I just need to know where the site of the latest attack has been.
She points to the place on the map that has specifically the location that they want you to go to is on the map. And then it has like a
Okay.
couple of other X's where there might be dangerous things as well.
That's fine. We'll deal with those as we come to them.
So there have been a couple of attacks, and she points to each of the X's, but the one where we found the girl happened here. And it's like a big X.
no. Does this have strategic importance to wherever we are now? I mean, like, is it close to the city walls? Is it away from the city walls?
She points to where you can see the edge of the village poking out from the side of the map. We're right here.
All right.
I mean, it's a journey. It'll take almost a day to get there, but
Well, I figure I asked though, we know what the timeline is for like it becoming really bad for the people in the town. You know what I'm saying?
oh yeah. So that's a really good point. There have been some small emergencies, but none of them have made it past the wall. That's how we got these specimen.
So it's unable to scale walls right now. All right. Maybe it's restricted to the swamp.
This time, yes.
I mean, like biologically speaking, you can't live without a swamp. You know what I mean?
Not a clue.
Likely, no, but it it could adapt to live within the city. I mean, most of this place is part of the swamp.
I think I've seen everything I need to see.
Thank you very much for your help. We very much appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure working with you. Wish me luck.
Wait, before you go, I have something to help you on your journey. And she takes
Okay.
a drawer underneath of where like the display was. She closes that, grimaces, closes that, almost throws that probably because it's really grody. And then she opens a drawer and pulls out a black crystal in a perfect square.
What the?
This is a Wraith Firebomb. It's about the size of an orange. And she explains that when it is thrown, it explodes in a small radius upon contact, igniting anything within a few meters of the point of impact and searing it with ethereal flame.
How many uses of this do we have?
Just the one. Save it for an emergency.
Okay.
Anybody that touches the flame will then take 4 damage and writhe in agony.
Rude.
She holds it out. Who takes it?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
Excellent. So, are you guys ready to head out on your journey? Or do you want to do anything else before you leave?
Are we ready?
I would like to get to the site of the attack sooner rather than later to find any tracks.
And that's where we'll end our segment.
Special thanks to our logo designer Sierra Twazin, to Toys and Things in Danvers, Massachusetts, Reaper Miniatures, and Mongoose Publishing. If you enjoy the show, help the podcast grow. Give us a follow on Twitter at Lords Broken, join the community Discord, and maybe consider offering a small tribute to the old ones on our Ko-Fi. All these links and more can be found in our link tree at linktr.ee/thebrokenlords. Thank you.